Thank you for visiting the Miltenberger Law Offices YouTube channel and our website. We are a proven criminal defense law firm in Nebraska with over 1,000 cases handled and over 12 years of combined legal experience. Our firm has created these audio articles to help educate you on your rights, protect your freedom, and help you achieve the best solution for the charges you are facing. If we are hired for your case, we will never back down, no matter the odds. Juvenile Crimes Lawyer in Omaha, Nebraska. Nothing prepares a parent for a phone call saying their child has been arrested for a juvenile crime, or that the police want to ask questions, or that the school resource officer has filed charges. Your first thought probably isn't about the law. It's about your child, their future, their education, whether one mistake could follow them into adulthood. The good news is that Nebraska's juvenile justice system isn't designed simply to punish children. Its purpose is different. Whenever possible, the system focuses on accountability, rehabilitation, and giving young people the opportunity to move forward. But that doesn't mean juvenile charges in Omaha or anywhere else in Nebraska should ever be taken lightly. A juvenile adjudication in Nebraska can affect school disciplinary proceedings, driver's license privileges, extracurricular activities, college admissions, military opportunities, employment, and, in some cases, future criminal proceedings. Some offenses may even expose a juvenile to prosecution in adult court. At Miltenberger Law Offices, we represent juveniles and their families throughout the Omaha area and across Nebraska. We work to protect your child's rights, challenge the evidence, negotiate with prosecutors, and pursue solutions that protect your child's future whenever possible. If your son or daughter has been arrested or is under investigation, call 402-217-2267 or contact us online to schedule a confidential consultation with an experienced Omaha juvenile crimes lawyer. Understanding juvenile crimes in Nebraska. Juvenile cases are different from adult criminal cases. Different courts, different procedures, different goals. In Nebraska, juvenile courts generally have jurisdiction over children under the age of 18 who are accused of violating criminal laws. Rather than focusing exclusively on punishment, juvenile courts often emphasize rehabilitation, education, counseling, supervision, and helping young people avoid future involvement with the justice system. That does not mean the consequences are insignificant. A juvenile accused of breaking the law may still face detention, probation, counseling requirements, restitution, community service, substance abuse treatment, electronic monitoring, or placement outside the home. For more serious offenses, prosecutors may seek to have the juvenile prosecuted as an adult. The earlier an experienced juvenile defense attorney in Omaha becomes involved, the more opportunities there may be to protect your child's rights and future. Common juvenile crimes in Omaha. Juvenile cases arise in many different ways. Some begin with a fight at school. Others involve social media. Some begin after a traffic stop. Others stem from poor decisions made with friends. Common juvenile offenses include assault, theft and shoplifting, drug possession, marijuana offenses, possession of drug paraphernalia, underage possession or consumption of alcohol, vandalism and criminal mischief, trespassing, disorderly conduct, weapons offenses, school-related offenses, juvenile DUI, traffic offenses, harassment and threats, property crimes. Every case presents unique circumstances. Sometimes the police respond to a genuine crime. Sometimes a misunderstanding quickly escalates into criminal charges. Sometimes schools discipline students while prosecutors pursue criminal allegations at the same time. Juvenile assault charges in Omaha, Nebraska. School fights are among the most common reasons juveniles enter Nebraska's court system. Unfortunately, not every fight is as straightforward as it first appears. Arguments often escalate quickly. Several students may become involved. Teachers or security personnel may only witness the final moments of the confrontation. Police frequently arrive after the incident has ended, forcing officers to piece together what happened through conflicting witness statements. A juvenile assault allegation may arise from school fights, sporting events, neighborhood disputes, arguments involving siblings or friends, physical altercations at parties, road rage incidents involving teenage drivers. Many assault cases in Omaha depend heavily on credibility. One student claims they were attacked. Another insists they acted in self-defense. Friends naturally take sides. Video footage may be incomplete or unavailable. Our defense begins by gathering every available piece of evidence, not simply accepting the version presented in the initial police report. Depending on the facts, defenses may include self-defense, defense of another person, mistaken identity, lack of intent, inconsistent witness testimony, or insufficient evidence. Juvenile drug crimes in Omaha, Nebraska. Drug offenses involving juveniles often begin with school searches, traffic stops, or reports from other students. Common allegations include marijuana possession, possession of THC products, possession of controlled substances, drug paraphernalia, prescription drug offenses, distribution allegations. Drug cases in Omaha frequently raise important constitutional questions, including, was the search lawful? Did school officials exceed their authority? Did law enforcement obtain consent? Who actually possessed the alleged drugs? Simply being present where drugs are found does not necessarily establish possession. Our juvenile crimes defense lawyers in Omaha carefully examine where the alleged drugs were located, who had access to them, whether testing confirmed the substance, and whether the investigation complied with constitutional requirements. Underage drinking and minor in possession, MIP, in Omaha, Nebraska. Teenagers often make poor decisions involving alcohol. Unfortunately, those decisions can result in criminal charges that affect far more than a weekend. Underage alcohol offenses may involve minor in possession, minor in consumption, using false identification, open container allegations, alcohol-related parties, traffic stops involving alcohol. Even when no one is injured, these cases may affect driving privileges, school discipline, athletic participation, and future educational opportunities. Many first-time offenders may qualify for alternative resolutions depending on the circumstances, making early legal representation especially valuable. Juvenile weapons charges in Omaha, Nebraska. Nebraska takes weapons offenses involving juveniles seriously. Many parents are surprised to learn that a child does not have to intentionally hurt someone to face significant criminal allegations involving a firearm or other weapon. Sometimes the issue involves bringing a weapon onto school property. Other times it involves displaying a firearm during an argument, carrying a concealed weapon, possessing a prohibited weapon, or making statements that others interpret as threats. Juvenile weapons investigations in the Omaha area may arise from possessing a firearm at school, displaying or brandishing a weapon during an argument, possession of a handgun by a minor, possession of prohibited weapons, BB guns or airsoft guns mistaken for real firearms, threats involving firearms on social media, hunting-related incidents, reckless handling of a firearm, These investigations often move quickly. Schools may immediately suspend or expel a student while law enforcement conducts a criminal investigation. In some cases, officers seize cell phones, computers, backpacks, or other personal property while gathering evidence. Not every Omaha weapons allegation involves criminal intent. A student may unknowingly leave a hunting knife in a backpack after a weekend camping trip. An airsoft gun may be mistaken for an actual firearm. A joke made over social media may be interpreted far differently than the juvenile intended. Our defense begins by examining exactly what happened, how law enforcement obtained evidence, whether constitutional rights were respected, and whether prosecutors can prove every element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt. School-related juvenile crimes in Omaha, Nebraska. Many juvenile cases begin inside schools in the Omaha area and across Nebraska. Today's schools often have surveillance cameras, school resource officers, and strict disciplinary policies that can quickly turn school misconduct into criminal allegations. Common school-related offenses include assault on another student, threats toward teachers or classmates, possession of marijuana or controlled substances, possession of alcohol, weapons violations, vandalism, harassment or bullying, criminal trespassing, false bomb threats, making terroristic threats, computer-related offenses. Parents often assume that once the school imposes discipline, the matter is over. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. School discipline and juvenile court proceedings are entirely separate. A student may face suspension or expulsion while simultaneously defending against criminal allegations in juvenile court. Additionally, statements made during school disciplinary interviews may later become part of the criminal investigation. Before participating in interviews involving law enforcement or potential criminal conduct, families should speak with an Omaha Juvenile Crimes Defense attorney and understand how those statements may be used later. Juvenile criminal mischief and vandalism in Omaha, Nebraska. Teenagers sometimes make impulsive decisions that result in damage to property. Unfortunately, what begins as a prank can quickly become a criminal investigation. Criminal mischief and vandalism allegations commonly involve graffiti, damaging school property, breaking windows, vehicle damage, property destruction during fights, mailbox damage, spray painting buildings, damaging athletic facilities. Property crimes often involve disputes over who actually caused the damage. Multiple juveniles may be present. Witnesses may only observe portions of the incident. Estimated repair costs may also become important because the amount of damage can affect how an offense is charged. Our Omaha defense team examines surveillance footage, repair estimates, witness statements, photographs, and ownership records to determine whether prosecutors can establish criminal responsibility. Juvenile DUI and traffic offenses in Omaha, Nebraska. Receiving a driver's license represents a major milestone for many teenagers. Unfortunately, it also creates opportunities for criminal charges. Traffic-related juvenile offenses may involve driving under the influence, DUI, reckless driving, careless driving, leaving the scene of an accident, driving without a valid license, street racing, speed contests, alcohol-related traffic offenses. Unlike many other juvenile offenses, traffic cases may directly affect a teenager's driving privileges. License suspensions, ignition interlock requirements, increased insurance costs, and other administrative consequences may accompany the criminal proceedings. DUI investigations also present unique legal issues. Our Omaha Juvenile Crimes Defense Team may examine whether the traffic stop was lawful, whether any field sobriety tests were administered correctly, whether chemical testing complied with Nebraska law, whether officers had probable cause, whether constitutional rights were violated during questioning. Protecting a juvenile's driving privileges may be just as important as resolving the criminal allegations themselves. How the Nebraska juvenile court process works. Many parents have never been inside a juvenile courtroom. Understanding the process can make an overwhelming situation easier to navigate. Police investigation. Law enforcement may interview students, teachers, parents, witnesses, or school administrators. They may review surveillance footage, social media accounts, text messages, or cell phone evidence. Your child has constitutional rights during these investigations. Those rights should be protected from the beginning. Detention decision. Not every juvenile is taken into custody. Some are released to their parents. Others may be temporarily detained depending on the seriousness of the allegations and other statutory factors. Juvenile petition. If prosecutors believe sufficient evidence exists, they may file a juvenile petition describing the alleged offenses. This begins the formal court process. Court hearings. The court determines whether the allegations have been proven. Unlike adult criminal court, juvenile proceedings generally use different procedures. If the allegations are sustained, the court then determines an appropriate disposition. Disposition. The juvenile court has numerous options depending on the circumstances. Possible outcomes may include probation, counseling, treatment, restitution, community service, educational programs, electronic monitoring, or placement outside the home. The court's objective is often rehabilitation rather than incarceration. Can a juvenile be charged as an adult in Nebraska? In some circumstances, Nebraska law allows juveniles over the age of 16 who have been accused of particularly serious offenses to be prosecuted in adult criminal court. Whether that occurs depends on numerous factors, including the seriousness of the alleged offense. Crimes like homicide, armed robbery, or sexual assault often qualify. Whether violence was involved, the juvenile's prior record, public safety considerations, the juvenile's maturity and background, the likelihood of rehabilitation through the juvenile system. Prior to the transfer, a judge holds a hearing to decide if a juvenile case should move to adult court based on evidence and legal criteria. Adult prosecution dramatically increases the potential consequences. Whenever transfer is possible, immediate legal representation becomes especially important. Potential consequences of a juvenile adjudication. Many parents assume juvenile cases in Omaha simply disappear. That is not always true. Depending on the offense and outcome, consequences may include probation, juvenile detention, community service, court-ordered counseling, drug or alcohol treatment, restitution, electronic monitoring, loss of driving privileges, school disciplinary action, suspension from extracurricular activities, difficulty obtaining certain scholarships or employment, future sentencing consequences if additional offenses occur. Every effort should be made to minimize these long-term consequences whenever possible. Can Omaha juvenile records be sealed? Nebraska law provides procedures that may allow certain juvenile records to be sealed once statutory requirements have been satisfied. However, not every case qualifies. Eligibility depends upon factors including the offense involved, the juvenile's age, whether court requirements have been completed, subsequent criminal history, applicable Nebraska statutes. Protecting your child's future often begins long before record sealing becomes available. It begins with building the strongest defense possible from day one. Common defenses to juvenile charges. Every juvenile case in Omaha deserves an independent investigation. Depending on the facts of your case, defense strategies may include mistaken identity. School incidents often involve multiple students. Witnesses can easily confuse who did what. False allegations. Conflicts between classmates, former friends, dating partners, or teammates sometimes lead to exaggerated or fabricated accusations. Insufficient evidence. Suspicion alone does not prove guilt. Prosecutors must establish every required element. Constitutional violations. Students and juveniles still possess constitutional rights. Illegal searches, unlawful interrogations, or improperly obtained statements may affect what evidence prosecutors can use. Lack of intent. Many offenses require prosecutors to prove a particular mental state. Accidents, misunderstandings, or horseplay do not necessarily satisfy those legal requirements. What parents should do after a juvenile arrest in Omaha, Nebraska. Parents naturally want to protect their children. Unfortunately, the first few hours after an arrest are also when families are most likely to make decisions that unintentionally complicate the case. Try to follow these steps. Step 1. Stay calm. Your child needs guidance, not panic. Remaining calm allows you to make thoughtful decisions while providing the reassurance your child needs. Step 2. Do not encourage your child to explain everything. Many parents believe honesty alone will solve the problem. Unfortunately, statements made without legal advice may later be used during court proceedings. Even truthful statements can be misunderstood or taken out of context. Step 3. Preserve evidence. Save text messages, social media posts, videos, photos, names of witnesses, anything that may become important later. Electronic evidence often disappears quickly. Preserving it early may become critical later. Step 4. Communicate with the school carefully. Schools frequently conduct their own investigations after an incident. School disciplinary proceedings and juvenile court proceedings are often separate. Statements made during school investigations may still affect the criminal case. Step 5. Follow all court orders. If the court imposes release conditions, counseling requirements, curfews, or no-contact orders, compliance is essential. Violating those conditions may create additional legal problems. Step 6. Contact a juvenile defense lawyer immediately. Early legal representation from a skilled juvenile crimes lawyer in Omaha may help preserve evidence, prevent damaging statements, and identify opportunities for diversion or other favorable resolutions. Early intervention may also create opportunities for diversion, negotiated resolutions, or other alternatives that better protect your child's future. Resources for juvenile cases in Omaha, Nebraska. Parents often have questions about juvenile court, school discipline, criminal statutes, and available services after a child is arrested. The following resources provide helpful background information but cannot evaluate the specific facts surrounding your child's case. For legal advice tailored to your family's circumstances, speak directly with an experienced Omaha juvenile defense attorney at Miltenberger Law. Nebraska Juvenile Court Jurisdiction Statute. Explains the jurisdiction of Nebraska's juvenile courts and the types of cases they handle. Nebraska Judicial Branch website, court procedures, forms, rules, and information about Nebraska courts. Douglas County District Court website, information regarding the 4th Judicial District serving Omaha and Douglas County. Nebraska Legislature website, search Nebraska statutes by keyword or statute number. Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Website, Youth Behavioral Health, Family Services, and Treatment Resources. Nebraska State Patrol website, criminal history information, and statewide public safety resources. Frequently asked questions about juvenile crimes in Omaha. Will my child go to jail? Answer, not necessarily. Many juvenile cases result in alternatives such as probation, counseling, treatment, community service, or diversion. The outcome depends on the offense, prior history, and individual circumstances. Can my child be questioned without a parent present? Answer: whether law enforcement may question a juvenile depends on the circumstances. Before any questioning occurs, families should understand their child's constitutional rights. Can juvenile charges be dismissed in Omaha? Answer: yes. Depending on the evidence, legal issues, and available alternatives, some juvenile cases may be dismissed, diverted, or resolved without formal adjudication. Can schools discipline my child even if charges are dismissed? Answer: yes. School disciplinary proceedings operate independently from juvenile court proceedings and may result in separate consequences. Can my child be expelled? Answer: depending on the allegations and school policies, expulsion or long-term suspension may be possible even while the juvenile case remains pending. Can juvenile records be sealed in Nebraska? Answer: many juvenile records may become eligible for sealing under Nebraska law, although eligibility depends upon the offense and other statutory requirements. What if my child has never been in trouble before? Answer: a lack of prior history may create additional opportunities for diversion or other alternatives, but every case should still be evaluated individually. Should my child apologize to the alleged victim? Answer: before making any statements or attempting contact, consult with your attorney. Well-intentioned apologies may later be interpreted as admissions. What if the school already punished my child? Answer: school discipline does not prevent prosecutors from pursuing juvenile charges in Omaha. When should we hire a juvenile crimes lawyer in Omaha? Answer: why families choose Miltenberger Law to defend Omaha juvenile crimes. Juvenile cases are about more than a single court date. They are about protecting a child's future. At Miltenberger Law, we understand that one mistake should not define the rest of a young person's life. We work closely with both parents and juveniles throughout every stage of the case, explaining the process, protecting constitutional rights, and pursuing practical solutions that allow children to move forward whenever possible. Depending on the circumstances, our representation may include conducting an independent investigation, reviewing school surveillance footage, analyzing police reports and witness statements, examining cell phone and social media evidence, challenging unlawful searches and interrogations, negotiating for diversion or reduced charges, preparing every case for court if necessary. Our goal is simple: protect your child's rights today while helping preserve tomorrow's opportunities. Speak with a Miltenberger Law Omaha juvenile crimes lawyer right away. If your child has been arrested or is under investigation, waiting rarely improves the situation. Evidence can disappear. Witnesses' memories fade. Important legal decisions are often made early in the process. Miltenberger Law represents juveniles and their families throughout Omaha and Nebraska in matters involving assault, theft, drug offenses, underage drinking, weapons charges, school-related offenses, vandalism, juvenile DUI, and other delinquency allegations. Call 402-217-2267 or reach out online to schedule a confidential consultation with an experienced Omaha juvenile crimes attorney. The sooner we become involved, the sooner we can begin protecting your child's future. Immediately. Early representation allows your Omaha juvenile crimes attorney to protect your child's rights from the beginning of the investigation. Miltenberger Law Offices is a leading criminal defense law firm serving the entire state of Nebraska. We are headquartered in Omaha and serve Douglas County, Lancaster County, Lincoln, Sarpy County, and all of Nebraska. We look forward to helping you with your criminal defense attorney needs.